awesome. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Crafting Cars. This is now season 2. I hope you enjoyed season 1, and I hope you're having a good Tuesday. I know I am, because behind me is an ACURA NSX. Now, the car's a little dirty since it just took a 700-mile ride on a car trailer to get to my house. So let's get it washed up while I tell you all about what I've just gotten myself into. So this extremely rare Grand Prix White 1992 ACURA NSX was recently purchased by one of our subscribers, who, just like a lot of us, dreamed of owning an NSX. So when this little gem popped up at a flood auction down in Florida, our boy Jeremy scooped it up and came up with a plan to save this Hurricane Milton victim. With only 40,000 miles on the clock, this car has a lot more living to do. Jeremy reached out to me via email on a random Monday, introduced himself, and shared his dream of having me build this NSX into the ultimate street, track, and show car. He offered to financially support me and the entire project while I post video updates of my work to the channel. Of course, I could not say no to an opportunity like this. Keep going, keep going. Push! Alright, let's see what we got in here. You guys will probably recognize some of these brands. Yeah, a lot of good stuff here. Coil red. I think we all know what this is. Looks like we got an Alpine. It's supposed to be an old school, yeah, compact disc changer. Oh, and then I think this is a piece of the front end here. Yep, sure enough. I'll tell you what, guys, sitting in this thing is wild. However, I love these seats, but being 6'2", I don't fit in this car the best. This is with the seat all the way back. If I kind of hunker down a little bit, maybe I fit in here a little bit better, but it is tight. However, this interior is awesome. You can see it all kind of flows together super nice. The side flows into the gauge cluster, which there's a lot of design similarities between this car and the Acura Legend. For example, yeah, the cluster is pretty much exactly the same. Radio controls all have the same buttons. This looks like it had a Bose sound system in it, just like my Legend did from the factory. All really nice leather materials in here. We got nice NSX badging here on the armrest. There was another one on the door sill. It's just a nice place to be in here. You feel like you're in the cockpit of like a fighter jet or something. However, this is not a place you want to hang out for too long, because if you look closely, see these little white dots here? Those are mold spores coming back. You can see in the center console here, same thing, little mold spores. That's what you get with a flood damaged car, but everything in here is pretty much going to get stripped out, cleaned, and put back together anyway, so not too worried about that. And with the seats, with the height issue, he plans on putting some red Recaros in this thing in classic Honda fashion, so that should probably fix that issue. I know we got some goods in the trunk as well, and yes, this car does have an actual trunk. Unlike a lot of rear-wheel drive, rear-engine sports cars or mid-engine sports cars, instead of putting it in the front and calling it a frunk, they have it behind the engine bay, and it's actually pretty decent sized if we could get it open. So the factory key, I don't know if there's rust in there or something, but it's not going in that hole. So I cannot pop the trunk. And this car, being all fancy schmancy, on top of having the electronic seat controls, it also has the electronic trunk button, just like the Legend does. And as you can see, with no charge on the battery, the button's not going to work. So I don't have a spare battery for it, but I do have some Milwaukee M12 batteries. I picked up these custom M12 battery adapters a while back. I don't know if you guys remember when I made those light up side skirts for the Civic. So I was using these for testing, and I think it's going to come in handy on the NSX as well, because these do put out 12 volts, and that'll be just enough to work all the interior electronics and test everything in there, including the trunk button. So there's the battery down there. Fuse box. How are we looking inside the fuse box? Actually, the terminals on these fuses and relays don't look too bad. So battery terminals are looking a little rusted, so we're definitely going to want to do some heavier gauge, higher quality batteries. Oh, headlights just went straight down. Oh, and I hear the power antenna going back there. And you can hear the sound of our people. Oh my gosh, it's alive. All right, let me tighten this down here. So it was under assumption when this car was shipped to me that the headlights weren't working, and the fact that I plugged it in, they went straight down. That's a pretty good sign. So we'll have to test that in a second after we test this trunk button. There we go. Just had to mash the button a few times. Lots of goods in here. Let me get this trunk propped up because the air struts are not working. We got Momo. I think I know what this is. Steering wheel. We got, oh, this one's heavy. Insane shafts. Oh yeah, I got some mounts. Looks like we got some parts from NRG and some parts from Skunk 2 Performance. We got a bit of work before putting these parts on the car, so I'll be having these sit in storage for a while. There's also a Macintosh amplifier back here. That's super old school. I've seen some of these on eBay for over $800. Chances are, with this being a flood car, it probably needs some love, but man, would it be cool to get this working again. And I've got good news. Headlights are working again. Let's get this thing up in the air and inspect the undercarriage. It is looking pretty good under here. Now these are actually 100% aluminum chassis. You might have some brackets here and there that are steel, but overall, this thing is looking really good. Looks like it's still got like a factory Honda undercoating on it. You can see some of it's peeling off here. These things are low though from the factory, so that's not too surprising. Roll down to the back here. I suppose this is the front of the car. Everything's looking pretty dang good up here. Of course, like I said, you'll have some steel brackets that might have a little bit of surface rust on them. Now I am seeing a little bit of like white staining on the chassis. I'm sure it's just salt. Yeah, it's pretty salty. Now, that could be road salt, or it could be salt from the ocean, since this is a Hurricane Milton vehicle here. So, what do you think? Ocean salt or road salt?
Ocean.
The exhaust has some surface rust, but I should be able to take care of that with a wire wheel. We won't be leaving this exhaust on the car anyways. But as you can see, it's just got a little bit of surface corrosion, not too bad. I was wondering how the NSX exhaust worked on these cars. So obviously, since the engine's in the back, you don't have too much room for exhaust piping before it leaves the car there. So how do you keep it from being way too loud? So we got the first manifold coming back into a flex pipe here, and then the second manifold, it extends up there, loops around into the flex portion, then into the cat there. So you got two cats. Each of them goes into one side of the muffler, and then from there they go through the muffler and out to the tip. So within like 4 feet of area here, you got like 12 feet of exhaust piping. You might have noticed for tires, we got the Falcon Azenis in the front, and we have some Toyo R888Rs in the rear back here. And you could even see the machining marks in there. So these are powder coated white, but these are custom made wheels. So these are forged wheels. And if you're an NSX fan, you probably recognize the design. So these are designed after the second gen NSX, NSX-R actually. So see, you got the NSX-R logo there. These things are sweet. I feel like I should mention this because it keeps going through my mind. But now that we're at the point where we're upgrading and modifying somebody else's vehicle and we're doing it on camera, I feel like I'm on the cast of Pimp My Ride, which is crazy because when I was a younger kid, me and my dad used to watch that show, and that's one of the main reasons that I'm into cars today, especially modifying cars. So I feel like we have come full circle. So anyways, to complete the NSX-R style look, we're gonna be hooking Jeremy up with some powder coated red calipers. So let's get these wheels taken off, pull these calipers apart, and we'll send them off to our buddy Charlie Moore for that fresh red powder coated Honda style look that screams, I don't lose. Now pro tip, they make plastic coated sockets to keep you from scratching your wheels as you take your lug nuts off. And to take it one step further, I put some masking tape inside the socket to keep myself from scratching my nuts. And it looks like they do have one broken stud here. That ain't nothing we can't fix though. Now that is one brake caliper completely stripped down, super cleaned, and ready for sandblasting and powder coating. Now the casting was a little rough on the NSX letters. These will be powder coated red, but the customer wants the NSX letters to be in white. So I sanded those smooth, and that should turn out really nice. So I'm gonna do the other 3 calipers off camera on my own time. We'll get these things sent out to Charlie. If you want powder coating services done by him, he is at charliemoa.dorioku. He does excellent work. And he has around like a 2 to 3 week turnaround time, which is pretty dang good for how busy that man is. So yeah, in the meantime, while these are getting coated up, we're gonna be going deeper into the interior of this thing. Probably in the next episode, we'll be pulling out the seats, the carpet, checking out all the internal wiring, seeing if it's salvageable, if it's damaged beyond repair. Things like sensitive electronics, like the SRS system, that's coming out for sure. And if we do find any issues with like the main wiring for like the fans, the fuel pump, we'll probably swap it out for a Haltech PDM system just to be absolutely safe. But overall, this is looking like it's gonna be a pretty good build. We're off to a really good start. So make sure you got your notifications on, you're subscribed. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If not, tell me why in the comments down below. If this video gets 2 likes, I'll do a part 2. Thanks to the customer for this amazing opportunity. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.